All right, folks, the next section that we're working with is section 4.9, qualitative graphs, and our essential question is, how can I sketch and describe qualitative graphs? So the very first thing that you might be wondering is, what is a qualitative graph? So let's go ahead and define that. It is defined as a graph used to represent situations where numerical values are not given. So in layman's terms, you're going to be given a graph that has some verbal information. It'll have lines that may be linear or nonlinear in it, but there's going to be no numbers, so we're going to have to interpret what that information means. Okay, so our first example here, let's just say it's water level in a sink. All right, so I'll give us our graph here. We're just going to be working with quadrant 1. We're going to say the bottom part is going to be represent time, and then the left side is water level. All right, so having the labels here is going to benefit us when we look at the information. So this is what it looks like. All right, so that is the information that we're given. So when we look at this information, we're going to have to answer some questions and more or less just, what do we notice? All right, so the first thing that I notice when I start off here all the way to the left is we have no water in our sink at the beginning. So I'm just going to note that. No H2O in sink at the start. Okay, so I know it's empty. From there, from here to here, I notice that the water level, H2O level, increases. And since it's a straight line, it increases at a constant rate of change, which is important to note. Then it levels off here. So H2O level stays the same. And since it's staying the same, what I can assume is there's no water going in. So either the water's been turned off or it's maybe moved to that other adjacent sink that's next to it. And then from here to here, obviously increases at a constant rate of change. Once we got here, we went immediately back down. So then, I'm assuming we have just continue to increase. It reached this certain level, and then now it's decreasing, and it's going down. So I'm assuming the plug out of the sink was pulled, or it came out on accident. Sometimes that happens to me, and next thing I know, I like to soak some dishes sometimes because I'm too lazy to actually clean it. And sometimes it comes out on accident, and then I get mad because I have to fill it and do the job again. So we'll put decreases at a constant rate of change. Decrease at a crack. And then stays the same with water in it. So I'm assuming the plug went back in, or you put it back in, or whatever it may be. So that is describing a qualitative graph. We have no numbers over here. We don't know how much water is in there, but we're able to describe what's going on and happening within the situation. Now, a couple of things here. This point right here represents our minimum point. The smallest amount, or the lowest part of our graph up here, therefore, would be our maximum. Okay? So with all these straight lines that we have here, we really have to utilize that idea of constant rate of change. Now, yeah, a different idea, a graph that may look a little bit differently. The example B, let's just say temperature during the day. Temp during the day. All right. Have our little graph here. We'll label the bottom time, and then we'll go temp over here. All right, and this is what this one's going to look like. Notice we have no straight lines at all. This, when we have it arced, non-linear throughout the entire thing, this is what we call a varied rate. So what I can learn based on this information is that the temp increased, then decreased at a varied rate throughout the day. We have our max up here, and it looks like the start of the day might be our minimum, but it might be end up over here, just depends. Okay, so those are the differences between the two. Make sure we're using our vocabulary correctly. And that's all I got.